Ben had always enjoyed dining at the upscale steakhouse in the old converted house with its intimate, quiet dining rooms, where the acoustics allowed for relaxed conversations. But tonight, he wasn't enjoying the atmosphere. He sat across from his wife, Kathy, who was fidgeting nervously, her eyes rarely meeting his. Though she was physically beautiful, smart, and successful, Ben no longer had any passion for her. He hadn't said much since arriving. He'd only spoken enough to order drinks and his meal, choosing the blackberry fillet. Kathy, on the other hand, ordered a salad, a choice that struck him as out of place in such a fine establishment. The tension between them was palpable. Kathy, after a long pause, finally spoke up, saying she wanted to talk about something important. Ben, sarcastic and detached, urged her to continue. She hesitated, but then blurted out that she wanted a period of separation, nothing permanent, just time apart to figure things out. Ben, unfazed, calmly responded that he didn't want her to fall back in love with him. Instead, he was certain she wanted this separation to explore her relationship with another man, Roger. Kathy denied it, but Ben pressed, accusing her of being emotionally unfaithful to him, having shared more of herself with Roger than with him. She was taken aback, but he insisted that she had already replaced him, even if it wasn't physical. As the tension grew, Kathy tried to defend herself, claiming Roger was simply a friend who listened without judgment. Ben, however, wasn't buying it. He called her out for discussing their marriage with Roger, before discussing it with him, and labeled her actions as betrayal. Kathy, clearly uncomfortable, tried to deny it, but Ben made it clear that their marriage had been over for a long time. He refused to accept her request for separation, telling her that he had already filed for divorce. Kathy was shocked, insisting that he hadn't fought for their marriage, but Ben couldn't see a future with her. The divorce proceedings were messy. Kathy resisted, demanding counseling and refusing to sign the papers, but Ben remained firm. He eventually walked away from the marriage, and though their split was difficult, he felt a sense of liberation. Kathy tried to reach out afterward, sending a picture of her with Roger in an attempt to guilt Ben, but he responded by sending the picture back to her, pointing out the betrayal. Despite their differences, Ben found some comfort in knowing that he was no longer part of a love-starved marriage. His kids initially sided with Kathy, not understanding the depth of her betrayal, but Ben explained his side, asking them if they would accept a separation if their spouse was already emotionally involved with someone else. Slowly, they began to understand. In the end, Ben moved on, embracing his independence, while Kathy remarried and divorced again within 2 years. Ben, however, chose not to remarry. He retired early and moved to the countryside, finding peace in his solitude. He missed the woman he married and the life they could have had, but he had long since lost respect for the woman she had become. Their past was filled with good years, but it was Kathy who had ultimately checked out of their marriage. Ben had been the one to pull the plug, but she had been the one who shot it. As Ben reflected on the journey, he was left with a bittersweet feeling. His life had moved forward, despite the pain of the past, and he found solace in knowing that, despite the mess of their marriage, he had managed to reclaim his life.